Hey everybody, it's about 10:30 Friday night. We rolled into camp probably about 7 and proceeded to get set up, and boys got the tents up, and Joe and I got our hammocks hung. And it's the first time either one of us have used the setup that we've got now, so it took a little longer than we'd like. Mine especially, just getting used to setups. There were some issues that just a little bit of a learning curve, so we pretty much bunked down for the night. We had a little bit of snow falling earlier. It was about 20 degrees or so. Get some of my breath a little bit, so it's definitely chilly, but I'm in the new Dutchware Chameleon, and I'm hoping this is going to be warm enough. I've got a 20-degree bag and 2 underquilts. I have a 20-degree full-length underquilt and a 40-degree 3/4. So I actually brought both of them and just stacked them up on top of each other underneath me to provide a little bit of extra insulation. So toes were a little chilly out of camp, just walking around a little bit. As you kind of stop and talk with everybody else, you stop moving and you start to get a little cold. So we didn't notice anybody else complaining about temperatures, but it's definitely a little chilly. They had a fire going and they were making hot dogs and seemed to be having a good time. So hopefully everybody gets a good night's sleep and they have fun in their activities tomorrow. So I just thought I'd check in a little bit tonight, but I'll do a little bit more filming tomorrow when I get up and kind of walk through the setups that we've got, and just kind of document the weekend. So it should be fun. Tomorrow's supposed to be a little bit warmer, upper 20s, mid to upper 20s, and then we'll be in the upper teens, I think, tomorrow night. Tonight's supposed to be about 15, 16, somewhere in there, so not much colder than where it is right now. So I think I'm warm enough in here, but I've got some extra gear just in case it's cold, and I've got to change it up. If I wake up in the middle of the night cold, then I may get my my heavier bag and bring that in here. So alright, I think that's enough for tonight. Time to get some sleep. We'll see you guys in the morning. Well, good morning everybody. It is about 7:30. People are starting to move around at the campsites here. So it's probably about time to start thinking about getting up. It's let's see, I've been up for probably about a half an hour. It was about 25 degrees in my hammock when I checked the temperature when I first woke up, and it's up to 28 right now, so temperature has gotten a little bit warmer. My night's sleep was okay. It wasn't spectacular, but I think there's a little bit of a learning curve. Here, I got my headlamp hanging down in front of a camera over there. So, I got the underquilts. I was getting a little bit of a draft up here by my head underneath, and had to cinch it up a little better. Just to pull the bottom up to the bottom of the hammock. So yeah, I mean, I've definitely got some things to try and figure out today. I'd like to get, there's clips along the side that look like you should be able to clip the the rings on the underquilt to the hammock so that it doesn't slide and it stays in place. So I'm going to try and figure out how to do that today. Last night I just couldn't get that to snap in. It seemed like the rings on the underquilt were a little too large for the clips on the chameleon, the Dutchware chameleon, to connect. So I will spend a little more time trying to figure that out today. And then the other thing is, I think just adjusting the hang on the hammock a little bit. I'm actually a little bit tilted in the hammock where this end's a little lower, that end's a little higher. Getting some adjustments on that front, and also the degrees that the hammock is hanging at. I don't know if that's perfect or ideal. It seems like it might be a little bit too much of a curve for me, so I'd like a little flatter leg. So I'm going to adjust that a little bit too, now that I've had a little bit of a chance. But quilt performed pretty well. It's only a 20-degree quilt, so if it was 25 degrees in here last night, it's probably a pretty bit good bit colder. Oh, here's Joe. Let me go talk with him, and then I'll check back with you guys later. We got some snow. It's a little chilly out this morning.
Okay. So where are we going to put these? How are we going to serve them?
You just have to hook it up to the tree.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I didn't know anyone was going to do it, so. All right. By all means. Thank you.
Well, hey everybody, it's a beautiful day. We've just got back from lunch, so thought I would take a few minutes and just kind of show you around what we're doing here. We've got a couple different groups that are set up and here at the campground, so I'm not sure the total number of people, but I would guess there's probably 100, 150 people. So the scouts are out right now doing different stations here at the winter Camporee. So it makes some sense to kind of do some of this now while they're not around. So let's go through my setup right now and how it worked and what I still have to work on. There's a few items that haven't had a chance yet to get to. So my goal was today, while I've got some free time, is to work on a few items and get them working perfect for tonight, the second night here. So let me show you around. So this is my setup. I've got a hammock gear. This is a Dyneema tarp with doors. I haven't used the doors yet. Part of what I'm going to work on today is get the shock cords cut, measured to length, so that I can get a system of closing them and tying them back when I don't need them, rather than using the ties. So I put that out. I've got my Dutchware chameleon, and I've got top cover on that, and this is where I slept last night. So I've got my Enlightened Equipment 20-degree quilt, which it was a little chilly at times, but it wasn't too bad. I did have a fleece on with my thermals and my wool socks, and that was plenty fine. So, and then underneath, I've got a 20-degree hammock gear. That's their Econ full length quilt, and then I've got a 40-degree Econ, but this is the Phoenix, the shorter version. So since we had temperatures that was supposed to get down into 15 degrees or something like that. I didn't want to just have the 20 degree, so give me a little bit better insulation to add that second one in. So I have to adjust a little bit. I had a gap this morning, I noticed. I've already kind of tightened around the hammock there and on the other end, just to keep the air from being able to sneak in and get underneath you. So that seemed to work all right. So here's kind of an example. My doors are just kind of open, and I don't have any kind of shock cord or anything. I did kind of what I'm doing with most of my tarps now. Just got a little bit of shock cord, and then I've got a little Zing-It line, which with a tarp worm, so that I can just stake that into the ground and then adjust that as needed and make adjustments. Depending on wind and weather. We had a little bit of snow last night, but you know, that's pretty much it. So I'm using the beetle buckles for my suspension. It took a little while to get used to that. One of them was actually threaded incorrectly, so every time you sat in the hammock, it just went down to the ground, and you'd come back and you'd tighten it up and you'd sit in the hammock and go back down to the ground. So it didn't hold the weight, and it was just the way the strap was threaded through. Actually was different than the other strap, so one was working, one wasn't. Then I figured that out and rethreaded it, and we're good to go. So that's it. Worked pretty well. Pretty happy with it. Just want to get more use with it, and better experience. One thing that I will say, I'll try and figure out if there's a better way to do it, and I can show you here. So on the Chameleon, one thing that's nice is, you've got straps, clips that are built in, like this one here, but other than just clipping it to the shock cord, I would love to be able to get and maybe there's a way, but there's rings on the hammock gear, but there's no real way to connect those. At least I haven't been able to. They don't fit over the straps. So, you've got a bunch of these, and the Chameleon's got a hook, but the hook is just slightly too small to fit over this type of ring. So I may come up with something, even whether it's just putting a little piece of shock cord today through that ring that really doesn't have any, it doesn't need to be very long. It can be very short, and just run it through one of these and be able to hold it. Because I did notice last night it would sink down. It would kind of slide one side to the other. I did like how the Chameleon has zippers on both sides, so I could literally just, open the zipper, reach out, readjust, and I'm good. But if I can get these to stay in place tonight, I think I will be a much happier person. So, I could even run it so that it connects these two. Or connect, it does have, I like that it has the hooks, but this hook just, I couldn't get it to fit around that. So, I don't know, maybe you guys have had that issue. If you guys have some solutions to that, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear what may work. So, other than that, we've got some of the other dads that are here in tents. And then the boys are on the far side over there, and then we've actually got another group that's on the other side of the pavilion. So we've got some downtime. So we're just starting to get a fire going and kind of hang out here. We really don't have anything until dinner later. So that's it. So I will check back with you guys later. We're just getting ready to make some dinner. The snow's starting to come down, so it's absolutely gorgeous out. And over here you can see everybody's kind of sitting around the fire. just enjoying some time. There's a group behind my setup that's got a fire going too. So the temperature looks like it's dropping. The forecast now has us getting down to about 10 degrees tonight overnight, so a little chilly. Last night we think it was somewhere around 15, but we're not positive. But yeah, we're gonna get. They said maybe between 1 to 3 inches of snow. So awesome, winter Camporee, gotta love it. We'll check in later. Well, the snow's really coming down now. We've probably got maybe about half an inch so far, maybe a little bit more. It's kind of hard to tell. But chairs are definitely getting covered. Been just kind of standing by the fire, keeping warm. I'm the only one here at camp at the moment, as everybody's down at the dining hall for some activities, and I believe they're showing a movie. So, but yeah, it's pretty snowy. You can see just how much is built up on the tents. So and then as we walk over to the boys' stuff, yeah, that one's pretty well covered. So, yep. So I think I'm gonna stay by the fire for a little while, and then it'll probably be before too long, maybe even before they get back, I'll call it a night. Or I may try and stay up, but it's not too bad. I'm staying actually pretty warm. This is kicking off a good bit of heat still, so. Beautiful night. Oh, hey everybody. I'm back in the hammock now, getting ready to call it a night. So, a lot of the gang is still down watching the movie, but it was getting a little later, almost 10 o'clock. So, just thought I'd get ready for bed and climb in, and it's pretty cozy. I switched up a couple things to try and make tonight's sleep a little more comfortable. So I closed the doors on the tarp just to provide a little more protection from the wind and the snow, and then I added some shock cord to the underquilts so that they just stay in place with the hooks that are on the side of the hammock. And the big thing was getting this guy out of the car. This is the modular sleep system. My bag that is the warmest one I have. This thing is rated a -40, so it's pretty toasty right now. Oh, and I even threw just a wool blanket underneath me inside the hammock. So I've got that if need be for later. So nice warm. Getting ready for sleep. So I've got a couple hand warmers too that I fired up and put those in my socks. So even before I switched and put some clean socks on, they were nice and toasty, which was nice when I had to strip down outside in the snow, get all my gear off. Some of it's wet, just from being out in the snow for so long and being next to the fire. All the snow that just accumulated melted, so my jacket was wet, and my ski pants were wet. So and take those off, and take my pants off and strip down just to my thermals. So I've got that, and then I've got a fleece on too, which I probably don't need, but just while I was moving around, I had it. So I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a pack of coyotes off in the distance. So they weren't too far earlier, and you could hear at least 4 or 5 of them that were all just howling for probably a good 30 seconds to a minute, and I was just sitting here listening to them. So very cool. So liking the setup. It was pretty comfortable in here last night. I'm hoping tonight is more comfortable than even last night was with some of the adjustments. So I also adjusted the hang a little bit because I felt like it was a little low in the foot end. So towards the end, as the night went on, I kind of ended up sliding down the hammock towards that end. So I raised that, and it looks like it's a little better hang. It feels more comfortable in here too. So a little more flat. Excuse me, but all right. Well, I don't know if you can hear it too. The snow is just pelting the tarp, which you can kind of. It's only probably 3 or 4 inches away from the top of the hammock, so you kind of reach through the top cover and shake that off occasionally. But it's just pelting that. You can hear that sound. It's not often I get to hear that in a tent even, so let alone in a hammock. So pretty cool. Temperature last I saw, excuse me, was 26 still, so still pretty warm. The forecast had it somewhere between 10 and 12 degrees tonight still, so lower than what we originally thought it was going to be in the upper teens. So it looks like it might be close to single digits, maybe just above by morning. So hopefully everybody has a nice comfortable sleep tonight. So I'll sign off, and I'll see you guys in the morning. Take care. Well, good morning, everybody. It is about 7:30, and it's time to get up and get going. It is definitely pretty cold outside. There's a lot of people outside stirring and moving around already, but it wasn't too bad. It definitely got colder here right before it was time to get up. It's about 11 degrees right now, so definitely colder than it was last night, but I'm glad I got my heavy bag out, because it was pretty comfortable in this, and I probably would not have been as comfortable in my 20-degree bag. So I put my clothes inside my sleeping bag to try and warm them up before I put them on. I've got to go get my snow pants. I put them back in the truck last night, and my jacket. They got a little bit wet last night as the snow was landing on them, and being close to the fire, so the fire would kind of melt the snow, and but they were kind of wet on the outside. So we'll have to see if there's some frost or something like that on them when I put them on. But there's a little bit of condensation on the inside of the hammock here, but not too bad. We'll inspect it a little bit more as I get up and get moving. So, but I don't hear any of our boys stirring yet. I just hear some of the other troops. I don't know if you can hear that. Characters. What's up? Alright. I'll see you guys in a little bit. So we're all packed up, got the trailer loaded, everybody had some breakfast sandwiches and some donuts and hot chocolate or coffee, and now we're just checking out and getting ready to get on the road. So thanks for joining us on this short little weekend winter camp out, and we'll see you next time. Take care, be well.